Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? Like you're stuck, maybe self-sabotaging or just feeling totally scattered by everything coming at you?
Yeah, that sense of chaos. It feels real pervasive almost.
Exactly. And today, our mission is to kind of peel back the layers on that feeling. We're looking at this really powerful idea that maybe, just maybe, that chaos isn't the fundamental reality.
That's right. We're diving into this concept that there's a hidden order underneath it all, an order we miss because our own perception gets in the way.
Okay, hidden order. So, where does this idea come from? You mentioned it connects to information theory.
It does, yeah. Thinkers looking at randomness, they started defining disorder, not as, pure randomness, but more as missing information.
Missing information. Okay. So the chaos we feel isn't inherent. It's a result of us not seeing the full picture, like looking at a map, but half the roads are invisible to us.
Precisely. We filter things out. Subjective bias is the mechanism. And look, some filtering is necessary. The world's complex. But the point is, we can reclaim some of that missing information.
And reclaiming it improves our lives.
Absolutely. The quality of your life really comes down to the questions you're willing to ask yourself. Questions that reveal what you're currently unconscious of.
Okay, let's unpack that subjective bias then, because that seems to be the starting point for all this distortion.
hmm
Why do we filter? Is it just a thinking error, or is there something deeper, maybe biological?
Oh, it's deeply biological. It's a primal survival thing wired right into the amygdala.
The amygdala, right, the brain's sort of alarm system.
Exactly. And for raw survival, it needs to make super quick judgments. Is this thing potential food, prey, or is it a threat, predator? So it assigns these extreme emotional tags, attraction or repulsion.
Makes sense for quick reactions. You see something, you instantly categorize. Good, pursue, bad, avoid. No time for nuance if it's a lion, right?
No time at all. You don't pause to admire the lion's mane when you should be running.
Mm-mm.
So we create these, let's call them false positives in both directions.
How do you mean false positives?
Well, with attraction, infatuation, the prey mode, you become hyper aware of all the positives. You see all the good stuff.
And blind to the negatives.
Totally blind. Unconscious of the downsides. You inflate the benefits to make sure you catch the prey.
Okay. And the opposite for predator mode. Resentment, maybe?
Exactly that. You become hyper conscious of every single negative, every flaw. And you're completely blind to any potential upside or redeeming quality. It ensures you avoid the predator. Functionally, it works for immediate survival.
But not so much for, like, complex relationships or balanced decisions in modern life.
Not at all. It leaves us swinging between these poles, missing the whole integrated reality. We prioritize speed over accuracy over truth.
So we're sort of trapped in this biological loop of skewed perception.
Well, here's the interesting part. Even when we're deep in that skew, the brain knows something's off. There are these feedback systems,
Yeah.
what we often experience as intuition.
Ah, okay. So intuition is like,
It's like a whisper, constantly trying to point out the side we're ignoring, trying to nudge us back towards seeing the whole balanced picture. It's guiding us back to that hidden order that was there all along.
that's a really hopeful thought. Our own system is trying to course correct. But what happens if we ignore that whisper? If we live in that skewed, amygdala-driven state for years? What's the cost?
The cost is real, and it's measurable. It's entropy.
Entropy, like things breaking down.
Yeah, essentially. We experience it as aging, maybe illness, chronic fatigue. But fundamentally, it's the system becoming less organized, losing energy. It's physiological feedback screaming at us to get back to our center, our authentic balance.
So being stuck in seeking gains or avoiding losses, that's literally wearing us out.
It is. Think about it. Constant seeking or avoiding means chronic stress, high cortisol, adrenaline, that demonstrably speeds up cell death, increases disorganization in the system.
Wow. So that feeling of being burnt out isn't just mental, it's physical breakdown driven by perception.
Absolutely. The body wants balance, homeostasis.
Hmm.
When we live in that highly polarized state, loving this, hating that we disrupt the balance and we pay the price, insomnia is a perfect example.
How so?
Well, if you're super infatuated with something, the excitement, the gain keeps you wired. If you're deeply resentful or anxious about something, the stress, the loss keeps you up. Both ends of the spectrum disrupt sleep because you're caught in that fear of missing out or fear of something bad happening.
The fear of loss and the fear of gain keeping us awake.
Right. The person who's more objective, more aware, they see transformation, not constant gain and loss. They tend to have more vitality, less of that physiological entropy.
Okay, that connects directly to finding that authentic center you mentioned, which brings us to values, right? People talk about values, but often what they do tells a very different story.
That's a crucial point in the source material. It really emphasizes what you say means very little. What your life demonstrates means everything.
Actions speak louder than words.
Louder and more honestly. How you actually spend your time, where your energy and money go, that's the blueprint of your true values. Your highest value, what some call your telos. It's simply the thing your life naturally organizes around. It's the most efficient way for you to feel fulfilled.
And if we're not living in line with that highest value, what happens then?
That's when the compensations kick in. All those impulsive behaviors, the compulsive stuff, chasing immediate gratification, the quick dopamine hits,
Like scrolling social media or impulse buying
or substance use, overeating, anything that gives a quick temporary fix. They're all signals that your deeper, highest values aren't being met. If you don't fill your days with actions that genuinely inspire you, that align with who you are,
you reach for the easy thing.
you automatically shrink your world. You look for a shortcut to feeling good, something that mimics real satisfaction, but is ultimately fleeting and often destructive.
There's a really striking example of this in the source material, wasn't there? The executive who sold his company.
Oh yeah, the $750 million sale. Classic case.
Yeah.
Sells the company, achieves what looks like the ultimate goal, financial freedom. His drinking just skyrockets, he spirals. You think, why? He has everything. But the money wasn't his highest value,
What was?
being a deal maker. The act of structuring complex deals, the challenge, the strategy that was his driving force, his telos. He sold the company because he was burned out on managing it, the day-to-day stuff that wasn't his core value.
So taking away the deal making left a huge void.
A massive void. The drinking was filling that void, compensating for the lack of genuine fulfillment.
How did he fix it?
Eventually, he went back to the company that bought him out and basically said, look, let me just consult on the big deals. He went back to doing what he truly valued.
And the drinking.
It dramatically reduced, almost stopped, because he was filling his time again with high-priority, meaningful actions aligned with his core identity. It shows that living your values prevents those compensatory behaviors. Your fulfillment becomes intrinsic.
Okay, so we know bias causes problems, and living our values is the solution. But how do we actually dismantle the bias? Especially when it involves other people putting them on pedestals or despising them. How do we get to that balanced, authentic state, that pure reflective awareness?
Right, that synthesis of, let's call it love and wisdom. There's a specific method, a set of questions designed to break down those projections, especially infatuation, which makes us feel small and inauthentic.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's say I really admire someone's confidence. They just seem unshakable.
Perfect example. Step 1. Identify the admired trait. And be specific, not just confidence. What exactly do they do? Maybe it's the way she maintains eye contact and answers tough questions without flinching. Pinpoint the specific action or trait you're projecting onto them.
Got it. Specific action identified. Then what?
Step 2. Find the reflection. This is where you have to be really honest with yourself. You need to go into your own memories and find specific instances where you displayed that exact same trait.
The exact same trait. Maintaining eye contact, answering without flinching.
Exactly. Same quality, same intensity. You keep looking until you find examples where you did it just as much, just as well. This breaks the illusion that they have something you lack. It shifts your awareness from projecting it out there to reflecting it in here. You own it.
Okay, that makes sense. It balances the power dynamic internally. But they still seem overly positive, right? The pedestal is still there, maybe just a bit lower.
Right, because you've only looked at the upside in them and found the upside in you. Now you need step 3, balance the sheet. Go back to that moment you admired her confident answering of questions. Now ask yourself, what were the downsides of her displaying that trait in that moment?
Downsides of confidence, like what?
Well, did that unwavering confidence maybe make her seem arrogant? Did it shut down collaboration? Did she miss important feedback because she seemed unapproachable? Was there a financial cost later because a point was missed? You actively look for the negatives, the drawbacks, the costs associated with that trait in that specific situation.
So you're forcing yourself to see the other side of the coin that you were previously blind to. You're balancing the perception of them.
Precisely. You're balancing their sheet. And you've already balanced your sheet by owning the positive trait. When you see both the positives and negatives in them, and you own the trait within yourself, the projection dissolves.
What does that feel like? when the distortion dissolves?
It's often described as a profound shift. Neurologically, it's linked to something called gamma synchronicity. It's like a eureka moment. The feeling is often one of immense gratitude, sometimes even tears, because the chaos, the imbalance you felt disappears, and you realize the order, the completeness was there all along. You were just filtering it out.
Wow, that's a powerful tool set for getting back to authenticity. How does this connect to, say, learning and achieving mastery in a field if living our values is key?
It's absolutely central. Mastery requires focusing intensely on what's highest on your value hierarchy. Your brain is actually wired for this. It's called value-driven filtration.
Okay, tell me more.
There's a part of the thalamus, the pulvinar nuclei,
Yeah.
that acts like a gatekeeper for information flowing to the cortex. If you consciously link what you're trying to learn, say, neuroscience, to your absolute highest value, maybe it's understanding human potential.
Then the brain prioritizes information related to neuroscience.
Exactly. The pulvinar nuclei essentially flags that information as highly relevant and shunts it from your unconscious processing straight into your conscious awareness much more readily. You notice it more, you retain it better, you connect it faster.
So that explains those, frankly, unbelievable stories you hear, like Dr. DeMartini reading thousands of pages a day. It's not just speed reading, it's that the information aligns with his highest values.
It's a huge part of it. Yes, he developed techniques for visual reading, getting past subvocalization, but the information sticks and becomes usable because it's deeply linked to his core mission, his highest values. The reading itself might load it into the unconscious.
But the value link makes it easier to pull into conscious thought when needed, like through Q&A or application.
Precisely. If it matters to your core purpose, your brain treats it as vital and makes it accessible. It's incredibly efficient.
And this focus on highest value, it also drives that intense delegation philosophy we read about, mastering those 7 key areas of life.
Spiritual, mental, vocational, financial, family, social, physical, yes. You can't possibly master all of those if you're constantly dragged down by tasks that don't align with your core purpose, things that devalue your time and energy.
So you have to delegate.
You have to. If you don't delegate things that are low on your value list, you inevitably shrink your time and focus. And what happens then?
You compensate. Back to the quick fixes.
Exactly. The source material details this commitment. Focus only on the absolute highest priorities in that case: teaching, researching, writing, traveling. Everything else, delegate it. Financial management, administrative tasks, household chores, anything that someone else could do, freeing you up to operate at your highest level. That prioritization is the key.
Okay, so pulling this all together for our deep dive today. The big takeaway seems to be that whenever we feel strong judgment, whether it's intense admiration or intense dislike, it's actually a signal.
It's feedback. Pure and simple. It's telling you you're off-center. You're not being fully authentic. You're chasing some fantasy of perfection in someone else or running from some nightmare of perceived flaws, maybe in yourself or them.
So judgment isn't about the other person, it's about our own state of alignment.
At its core, yes. It's a symptom that you've abandoned some part of yourself. When you're truly living in line with your highest values, you're inspired, you're engaged. You don't have a time or the inclination to get caught up in comparing or criticizing.
And the path forward involves embracing all parts of ourselves.
That's the integrated truth. Real growth happens when you have the courage to own the whole spectrum, the hero and the villain within you, the saint and the sinner. When you accept and integrate all those complementary opposites inside yourself.
External opinions lose their power.
They become irrelevant. Subjective bias loses its grip. You're no longer controlled by praise or criticism because you already own all aspects of yourself. You're whole.
Understanding that the chaos is just missing information and that our own system, our intuition, is trying to guide us back, that really changes how you might approach feeling uncomfortable or judged.
It transforms it from a problem into a signpost. It's guiding you home. Think about wisdom itself. It's often described as this blend, the love of wisdom and the wisdom of love. It's about synthesizing opposites.
A balance.
A balance. And if we consider that many great insights today echo ideas from thinkers thousands of years ago, Ibn Arabi, the ancient Greeks, it makes you wonder, what really is an original idea? And maybe more importantly, how does deliberately embracing the other side, the complementary opposite in every judgment we make, move us closer to that state of complete integrated awareness?